Hello Tubesters, it's Gav and welcome to another one of my videos. Today it's a ramble. We haven't caught up with each other for a while. I feel like I'm actually reclining in one of them old rocking chairs, but no, it's just the age that's making me feel that way. I just wanted to check up on you all and see how we're going in these quite difficult times. There's a lot of people that when I say people, as in guys that are going to drift by and see this video. If you are watching this video, you're obviously into, let me get it right, figure painting of all descriptions. So that's busts, large scale figures, war games figures, and model kit building of any description. All right, at the moment you'll see on my channel about two 1 in 35 scale kits. A 1 in 48 scale Sea Fury that's slowly taking shape, very slowly, and several smaller kits. I will be doing actually a stash video. Yes, Gav now has a stash. Isn't it weird? The world's falling apart around me and Gav clings to a pile of styrene for protection. You know, it can drag the wife out the door, it can drag the pop out the door, and Gav's holding onto that stash. No, I just you know, it's probably the head problems I've got. I just suddenly thought, oh, what am I going to do? I still need, because it really does. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't paint. Painting's been a mainstay for me all these years. As I say, I've got problems with me mental health, as we all know, but I say it again just because it really gives me a lot of help, and I do think you might not be, say, walking in my shoes, but there'll be a lot of people now that, especially if you're by yourself in the community, and when I say community, that is either guys with channels or guys that contribute to our channels with their subscriptions and their kind words, their comments. You're all part of the community, and there'll be a lot of people that are, you know, actually finding it hard, probably. The isolation as such. Well, let me just move this in a bit closer so you can see my potato head in all its glory. There we go. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of people that'll be finding it hard. You know, just and even if you you know, obviously at home with other people, it can be hard. You know, I mean, myself, you know, my wife goes out to work. I'm here. I paint my figures for a living. I paint figures for hobby. I model kits for a hobby. They're my hobbies. I say I used to work my dogs, but now one's passed away and the other one's retired. So we don't do that now. So it is just basically sat at my bench all day, and I tend to paint into, I wouldn't say into the early hours, but at least till, you know, 11:30, 12 o'clock sometimes at night. So that's what keeps me going. So, as I've joked quite often since this has all started, I've been self-isolating for the last few years. So in that sense, it's not a problem for me. But with all this, I've got like this severe PTSD and all that, and noise, and it's weird. I literally live my life on rails almost now. It helps me when things are out of kilter. You know, if they're, you know, like say my wife, she's gone to work today, but she's slowly losing days and days now, working from home, and there's going to be a time when she'll be, you know, on these furloughs, we can see it coming, and having that extra noise and the clatter and everything in the background, it doesn't stop me painting, but it's just different from my normal day-to-day routine, if that makes sense. So I can absolutely understand, you know, guys that are you know, at home at the bench, and you know, it can be a bit of a hard time. So, you know, I've been doing my best, sticking little videos up, bothering the hell out of you. Yes, they're long. I'd like to say I purposely make my videos long, but as we all know, Gav just waffles. It just gets out of control. So yeah, my videos aren't particularly any longer for the reason of keeping you guys entertained, but I'm hoping that sticking more of them up is just something that you've got a video to turn to. I was thinking the other day, what do I have? You know, I'm a huge fan of motorcycle racing. It's I like my football. So for anybody outside that calls it soccer, football, Ramble, I like that, but we don't have any pay-per-view or anything, and as we all know in the UK, it's all gone pay-per-view. Sport in general now has just been sold out, really. It's all money. Yeah, you know, I don't do any pay-per-view, so if I can't see it on the normal channels, I don't see it. But I love my British Superbikes, I love my World Superbikes, and I love MotoGP, just bike racing. I occasionally dip into the Australian and the American short circuit bike racing as well, but you like to get to know all the different riders and how they fare through the years and stuff, so I try to keep it to that, so I can track the different riders, the different bikes. And it's always since the 80s. Don't ride myself. I just love motorcycle racing. For me, it's like the purest form. If you want to, stick in a bloke or a woman on a motorbike and you see him go flying around those tracks. If any of you guys don't know, MotoGP have a channel on YouTube. Ordinarily, it's just obviously promoting MotoGP, but there's little clips on there, and they'll have the different riders on throughout the seasons and stuff. But now they're putting a lot of the older races on from the early 2000s. Some fantastic contests with one of the finest motorcycle races the world's ever known, which is of course Valentino Rossi. I just love that. I love putting that on in the background. And I was going through as I was painting last night, thinking I've got some different stuff playing on in the background, and I thought, I wonder what everybody else is doing when they're actually, sat at their bench working. I mean, you might have films on and things. I don't have a TV in this room. This is an actual bedroom the bed was hiked out and put my table in, and the wife is determined to get this room back. It's as if we have thousands of people visiting, but it's my painting studio for the last couple of years, which is why I'm only allowed. I've got a British steam locomotive on there. I've got a steam locomotive. I enjoyed British steam locomotives from the 1920s to the end of steam in the UK in the 1969. I'm a military history buff. And when I say history, modern, literally from now backwards. I follow most forms of military history. I always say early Imperial Rome. Then a huge jump. Nick's gonna hate me, but I've never been into the Dark Age, Middle Ages, medieval type stuff. It really starts again from around the 1600s, I suppose, and then right up to the modern day. I love my steam locomotives. As a kid, I couldn't afford one of these railways now. They're so costly, but I used to have the little, the railway and the 00 trains, and that started me off. I've got a few books on different I can tell you the odd locomotive, and I can tell you who designed it and things like that. And for one of the big four companies before British Rail and things like that, I can say that, but I can't give you engine shed numbers, and I'm not that into it. I just think they're living. Steam locomotives are living, breathing type animals, and the design and the sheer skill of the labour that went into building them, I just think is fantastic. I used to go around before we had the pops. I used to go around to different preserved railways with the wife, dragging her along, and we used to, obviously go off on steam locomotives and things like that. But I don't do that now. But I still occasionally, I'm still on a couple of line side channels, as we call them. That's watching people that video steam locomotives, but I don't like the British ones, and that's nothing against anybody else around the world. I just happen to like that era of steam locomotives in the British Isles. So that's that. What I've got MotoGP on, and there's a lot. I can't watch it, as I say, on mainstream TV, and obviously it's not on at the moment. But they are putting a lot of once a week or every few days they're putting another race up, which is great because it's going back to all the races I've seen before, and I can't remember them all, so it's brilliant again to watch the riders going for it. if anybody's not, I've just took this off the inside of my, that's Casey Stoner, and this is, to say it's supposed to just be, I guess it's a cheap calendar I got out the range. Of course, Valentino Rossi, and he's in about half of this. But yeah, I love my motorcycle racing, and if it's not your videos, there's certain channels that I really enjoy watching, and they range from obviously figure painting. There aren't a lot of large scale figure painting channels, and a lot of them get quite defunct. You know, they have a little rah, they'll do a year or 2 years and then they just obviously disappear into the ether, or they just go dormant and maybe put one video up every year or so. But there's the odd one out there, and obviously I enjoy seeing some of the War Games channels with their painted figures. I used to war game. I'm not a war gamer really now. I just paint figures. So battle reports and that I'm not really into. So you'll often find me, if you're kind enough to sub to the channel, or if I don't have a lot of interaction with other channels on that genre, it's only because it's just not me. You know, I don't follow that type of thing. So that's, I mean, no disrespect to that. I can take in the eye candy. I can take in the actual figures themselves, because obviously I paint them, and I enjoy seeing people's work, especially when it's nice quality. But actual battle reports as such, it doesn't really float my boat. Says a guy who's got a load of model ships in there of different descriptions, or war game ships. Yeah, so there's that. Obviously, last year or whatever, I got into my kit. So I wanted to get into kit building again for years. The thing that's always put me off is we don't have a lot of room here, and no way will my wife put up with me starting to stick model cabinets up around the house with tanks, aircraft, ships in, because I do them all. Not interested in sci-fi, to be honest with you. I can appreciate a really nice built sci-fi model, but I'm not into it myself. Cars, I'm not a car buff. I will be making some of the Tamiya motorcycles. The only thing that gets me, you can't seem to get a lot of race rep stuff, and it's the race reps that I'm more interested in, because it just, obviously it's the things I like to watch in real time, if that makes sense. But I will be at some stage building some motorcycles, I'd like to think, at the end, or at least one or two towards the end of the year. I'm just trying to get my skill set up. As I say, as we all know, decaling and that, I'm useless at the moment, so that's got to change. Cars, again, I've got some real good Maras on the YouTube. Sean, Tom, they make absolutely fantastic vehicles. There's a few other guys I watch their channels as well, but I interact with Tom and Sean a lot. And I say Tom's work is just it's phenomenal. It's art on four wheels. It's cracking. Same with Sean. I mean, Sean. Tom tends to have a particular genre of cars. I'm not even going to start saying in Tom, because I'll just stuff that up completely. but Sean, he said he likes his European stuff, but he also likes, obviously all his US stuff as well, and he can turn his hand to almost any car you can think of. But I can really appreciate what they're doing, if that makes sense. I'm not a car buff, but I can appreciate the end product. I mean, when Tom says 32, 36, 39, fair enough. Tall boy, high boy, short boy, wide boy, and any other thing you can think of. Same with you, Sean. It loses me sometimes, but I enjoy the enthusiasm, and I enjoy seeing the end product, because that the work that they've put into to get that vehicle. And I would like to do a car at some stage. I've got the idea that I'm going to do one of those foos. Is it chip foos? I've been looking up over the last, say, 6 months, different custom car guys, and Ramble do that. They do either the saloon or the pickup, and at some stage I will do that as a tribute to those guys, because it's just you just know it'll just have to be painted over with olive drab if at the moment, and have silvery decals down the side. So that's not a promise. That'll just happen when I can get my skill set up. Then I'll do that stuff. I've got kits to do. I'm going to say I'll do that kit report, stash report, whatever you call it. But I do intend to crack on and have another go at that interior build of the T55. My good friend Frederick from the Hobby Shack, occasionally we converse like on that, was it that Facebook Messenger thing, and he'll show me different T55 builds and all that. I'm sure he's just trying to lead the breadcrumbs down for me to, and obviously he's doing his own for me to follow, but I said I will go back to that. I know that if I put some of the Tamiya Extra Dub, whatever it is, what they call it, it's right in front of me here. Extra thin, who'd have thought? It's about the only thing that is thin in this house, don't tell the wife. I'm going to be trying to soften that up, take things apart and, you know, readjust them. Got a huge amount of filler ready. But I will be returning to that. I've promised myself that. It ain't going to beat me. So, oh, brilliant. One moment. Sorry for the interruption. That was the largest wasp I've ever seen. It was like a Lancaster bomber. Couldn't be putting up with that. Right, and I've completely lost my train of thought because there isn't anything in there anymore. I'm going to be returning to the T55 and trying to get that sorted. Because I was enjoying it, it was just I didn't enjoy it once nothing would actually come together in a straight line, or actually, you know, squeeze together. You couldn't put it in a vise on a bench and it still wouldn't have come together. So yeah, and that's nothing to do with the kit, that's all down to me. So yeah, we'll be going back to that one. I've got some figures in as well. As I've told you before, I've got the Yeomanry, which will be showing you probably next week as an unboxing. I've got the Battle Britain Fighter Pilot. I've got another 54mm figure of a Highlander, which I did get in my panic. Gotta get stuff in. It's not as if I have a load of money and it's just going because I can't get stuff out to my client. But yeah, that was mad panic. So I thought I've got to get myself a figure in as well. So I've got all that. I've got some Harry Potter stuff, which I know that most of you aren't interested in that. I just put it up because whatever's on the workbench is what I video. But I stopped that in that Cobra panic. It was the only thing that I let it wash over me a lot. That stuff, you know, it wasn't to say I'm not all there. It didn't actually really affect me that much. It'll be what it'll be on that score. But I did think, well, if they're doing all this, kids watch this and shouldn't be watching that. I mean, Harry Potter's a magnet for them, isn't it? So, although not that I've ever had any comments from that age range, and I think a few of the guys say when we look on our analyticals, my age range on my thing is I think something about 50 to 80. Something like that. It says it all really, doesn't it? I think I was between 50 and 80 when I was 18. So all that's on the go. And it was just a quick video. What am I talking about? Quick video. A ramble about what's going on with me, what's going on with you guys. I've got a ton of stuff on the bench. I've got the Paul Becker's commands. Was it Paul Becker's commands? Obviously, we all know Paul's fighting cancer at the moment, and the cancer knows it's in a fight, not the other way around, because Paul's going to smash it out of the park. We all know that. So I've got his figures on the bench. The little bit of a Dio thing I'm doing with it. I'm stretching it here, aren't I, with commands, because it's more like a vignette on somebody's board game table rather than the commands. But hey, it's all it's as the best as I could do, really. So, and I wanted to be part of that. So I've got that on the go. I've got after this video, should you have the will to live, I've got a Napoleonic 18mm video to put up before I start wrapping them all up. They're going nowhere at the moment, but at least they're getting wrapped up and put in a box. I've got some more naps. The clients, obviously it's been we're not sure with postage and that. He's in Norway, I'm here, well, I'm not here most of the time really, but you know what I'm talking about. We're just a bit worried that either his end with all. I mean, our Royal Mail have been really valiant. The posties, you're doing a great job, guys. They've got their own troubles. They're coming. They've probably got people in self-isolation. They've got their own. Getting food on the table, queuing up, all this type of stuff. But there's still little Trojans up and down our streets with their bags on their shoulders, bringing out parcels, letters, and stuff. And we really do appreciate what they're doing. So yeah, it's I've got a fair old amount coming and going, but it's just worried that I'm going to be sending figures out to my client that he's paid for originally, as in figures. Obviously my painting fees as well, and they get lost in the ether somewhere. So we're we don't know what to do on that score. He's, I believe, going to take a chance and send me some figures out, because the two units I've got are literally scraping the barrel of my spares box. I don't have a huge AB collection of my own, and he mainly, I paint, obviously I'm doing some Italians from at the moment, but it's I'm struggling for figures, and he's really, he knows I'm fixed at this end. Obviously my wife could be furloughed any time, and he wanted to work my way by literally raiding my spares box and putting two units together. So to the subscriber, and I'm really sorry I forgot your name, who suggested the Milan City Guard, well, funny enough, that's what he suggested. So about 3 days after your comment. So I'm painting those. You should see those in the next couple of days. So yeah, I've got 10mm. I haven't forgotten Sean's Arkansas boys. They were waiting for a video. That reminds me, Nick at Medieval Warrior did a tutorial on the DaVinci 16 something editor, and I downloaded it. Unfortunately, although it will let me, it looked really good for the tiny couple of minutes that I managed to do it, and it keeps telling me that something else hasn't downloaded, and we've tried it 2 or 3 times. We're going to try it one more time, and then that's that. And it's a real shame, because Nick's tutorial was the best one I've seen on any type of editorial. It was just nice and easy, and I was actually getting it when I was looking at the editor on my computer. But it allows me to get the photographs off my files, start putting the video together. But the minute I start trying editing it, it tells me something hasn't loaded up, and just blank, just it goes black. So yeah. That might not happen after all that, but we'll see. It's a shame, because my client sent me a load of photographs as well of his base, because obviously I don't base them for him, to put a little video together. So we'll see. We'll give it one more go. But thanks, Nick, for trying on that one, because that would have been really good. So yeah, guys, I'm going round in circles. I hope you're all doing well. Not much else I can say. I'll still keep putting the videos up with a horrendously low value of content. It literally is nothing much to gain when watching Gav's videos. But you look after yourselves. As I say, don't get the black mood over you. It's not worth it. Says a guy who's in all sorts of troubles with his head. If you're feeling really down, you know, put a comment, Gav, you know, and I'll get back to you, you know, do my best. But you know, paint your figures, move your little figures across the table if that's your thing. Stick bits of plastic together if that's your thing. Hopefully to the right places, and just take it on the chin, and you know, this thing will pass at some stage, and we will come out the other side. No problem on that one. As I say, there's a lot of things are going on at the moment, so try and enjoy your hobbies as best you can. Enjoy the videos that people are putting up. Enjoy the stuff, as I say, that you're putting on in the background. I did forget to say as well, if I'm not doing motorcycle racing on the computer, I've got jets and helicopters flying all over the place on mine. Drives them Mrs. crazy. She keeps hearing Puma and Wessex, Merlin, MI-26s, MI-8s, one of my favourites, and my most favourite, the little Kamov 27s, 32s if it's in civvies. Anyway, I'm waffling again, aren't I? But yeah, that's all helicopter talk. But yeah, just stay at your benches, obviously, and get involved in what you're doing. But you know, just keep sticking your videos up, keep getting involved. If you haven't got a video channel and you don't want to put one up, obviously that's fine. But you know, interact with people on their channels kindly, and you know, just be involved in it all, and you'll be surprised. You know, how it will alleviate any mind type of troubles, brain type of troubles that you might be going on. So take care of yourselves, guys. That was a complete load of inane waffle, but as I say, whenever I click that camera on to video, I haven't got a clue what's going to come out of my gob. Usually crud. So you take care of yourselves, and we'll catch each other very soon. There is an 18mm Napoleonic video coming up probably today.